Welcome everyone to the House of Public Discourse. I'm Johnny Hill. The House of Public Discourse is an area in social life where individuals can come together to freely discuss and identify societal problems and through that discussion influence political action. Very excited today. We are having our first live broadcast on Facebook, and we decided to do so because of a very important issue that's going on right now, and that's about the CBO report that's come out about Trumpcare, or the American Health Care Act. It's a very barbaric attack on the poor and elderly in this country. I would like to ask anyone who has not to please read the 28-page CBO report. It speaks for itself. It's a bipartisan group. I know we're hearing the Trump people and the Republican side saying that it's, that the CBO is, not correct in their assessment, but you hear that from Republicans all the time when the bipartisan CBO, Congressional Budget Office, as it's formally known, has anything that's derogatory against them. Now, they're all for the CBO when they come out with figures that are, in their favor. So we're going to dive into this issue a little bit here. I think it's a very important one. I happen to believe, and I don't think I'm overstating this, that this Trumpcare fiasco is just another attack on poor people in America, and this one will cost lives. So stick around. We're going to jump right into this issue here in the House of Public Discourse.
You are in the house with House of Public Discourse founder and host Johnny Hill.
Folks, any way you want to slice this, Trumpcare'S message to the poor and the elderly is just to die already. We're a nuisance to these global elites. Now, I want to start this conversation out by saying not all rich and wealthy people in America are monsters. Not by a long shot. But the ruling global and national elites in this world today are as evil as any Roman emperor ever was. These people look at the poor and the elderly and the underprivileged as a drain on the system, a drain on their tax dollars. And I know it sounds really bizarre, but I really feel like they just wish we would all just go away. And what does that mean in reality? I just think they want us all just to die already. It's just that simple. America is playing Russian roulette with the most vulnerable citizens. And the just out Congressional Budget Office report clearly indicates that Trumpcare'S message to the poor and elderly is to just die already. I really believe that. What better way to kill us off than deny us health care, deny us, preventative medicine. I don't want to get off track here, but this issue really burns my craw. It really scratches my nerves, if you will. Back in 2008, when the Affordable Care Act, commonly referred as Obamacare, was being sold to the American people, one of the main sales pitches of the Obama administration was, if you like your current plan and doctor, you could keep them. Millions of uninsured Americans were told that insurance under the ACA would be affordable. What we now know is when the reality hit and some people could not keep their same plans or doctors, and when the blood-sucking insurance companies' rates grew higher and higher, all you heard from the Republicans was that Obama was a liar who sold the American people a huge bottle of snake oil. And to be truly fair and balanced, as we try to be here in the House of Public Discourse, no matter how you slice the pie, the Obama team dropped the ball when setting up and negotiating the ACA. The healthcare industry accounts for about 20% and rising of our nation's overall economy. Yes, the website fiasco was more a ha-ha moment than a substantive failure of the ACA. However, it was an indication of incompetence, not making sure the servers were prepared and ready to go. It was like fumbling the ball ball on the opening kickoff of a football game. No one in their right mind can sit here, whether you're a Democrat, a progressive, an independent, or a Republican, or someone who just don't give a flying flip about politics, can say that Obamacare did not have some flaws. I think that's fair. However, now with the Trump administration and Speaker Paul Ryan attempting to repeal the Affordable Care Act and replace it with the Republican plan, we see now from the recently released CBO report that Trump's boastful claims of a better, more improved plan than the ACA is just not true. Trump made claims that his plan would cover everyone. He made that claim all throughout his campaign. The CBO report says otherwise, to the tune of some 26 million uninsured people by 2026. And only God himself knows how much more after that. Reports are varying on that, but we know it's going to go up and up. How does that in any way make Trump care better, folks? Trump also claimed that premiums were going to go down. Not true. Wrong answer. Rates are going to go up in the short term. And for some younger people, for example, the rates will lower over a period of time. But for others, like the poor and the elderly, the rates are going to skyrocket. One of the biggest claims that Trump made regarding Trump Care is that he would no ways, no how touch Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. As of the rendition of this live broadcast, they have not touched Social Security. But the same cannot be said about Medicaid. If the American Health Care Act is put into place, some 14 million Americans will lose their health care in the first year. Per the CBO report, that number will swell to 26 million by 2026.
Now, more progressive talk in the House of Public Discourse with your host, Johnny Hill.
Now, the thing that really just burns me up about the American Health Care Act is that it will create a modest reduction of the deficit, but at the expense of the elderly and poor. This is from the report. Although average premiums would increase prior to 2020 and decrease starting in 2020, the CBO estimates that changes in premiums relative to those under current law would differ significantly for people of different ages because of a change in age rating rules. Under the legislation, insurers would be allowed to generally charge 5 times more for older enrollees than younger ones, rather than 3 times more as under current law, substantially reducing premiums for young adults and substantially raising premiums for older people. To me, this is disgusting. If anything rings a bell for single payer, what's the buzzword? Socialized medicine. This is it. The top 1% are basically getting a hidden tax cut. That's what it is. It's a hidden tax cut for the rich. The real kick in the butt is how the American Health Care Act affects Medicaid. Most of the 14 million people who will lose health coverage will come from both regular Medicaid and the expanded Medicaid. This will affect our poorest Americans, many who are elderly, and only common sense tells you this will cost lives. That's right, Trumpcare'S modest deficit reduction will cost American lives, and that is a tragic reality to the so-called American Health Care Act. What this barbaric health care does is take us back to a time where almost 20% of Americans will not have medical insurance. Most of these people will be poor and elderly with no means for preventive care, no means to purchase medications. They must use the emergency room as their primary care provider and will be saddled with huge medical bills that they will be unable to pay. Like before, the taxpayer must pick up the tab, and like before, your health insurance rates will soar because of this history repeating itself. The Republicans will say, blame it on the poor folks. They're lazy. Also, these tax credits that are being offered are a joke and meaningless to the poor and out of work. Americans not due to being lazy, but to our jobs being exported overseas and other jobs being replaced by other new mechanized technologies like robots. Others will forego health insurance from their employers because the cost will be high and their wages low. The proposed American Health Care Act is just another shining example of the attack on the poor, working poor, and lower middle class Americans. Once again, we see the oligarchs and their political establishments taking from the poor and giving to the rich. Trumpcare, if passed, will take $880 million from Medicaid, and moreover, in the long term, will cut trillions of dollars in healthcare services for low-income Americans. The indications here are clear. The rich elites, not all rich people, find us poor folks a nuisance. And by cutting healthcare services to finance a tax cut and a slight deficit reduction, Trumpcare'S message to the poor and elderly is just die already. Now, I know to some that may seem outlandish, but facts don't lie. If people don't have health insurance, they're not going to go to the doctor, number one. If they would have had it, they might otherwise would. Number two, folks are not going to be able to get the medicines that they need for preventative medical needs. Two, they're not going to get the medications they need to cure the problems they have. People are going to die because of Trumpcare. And also, insurance rates are going to go up. And they're going to use the fact that people are going to the emergency room as the reason for it. Just like before, just like they did before Obamacare. Yes, insurance companies destroyed Obamacare by raising the rates up and up and up. Obama made a mistake. We had the Democratic House and the Democratic Senate. We did not have to compromise or negotiate away the public option in Obamacare. It was a huge mistake in our view here in the House of Public Discourse. But with that said, Obamacare did see a lot of people who didn't have insurance get it. And that was a big step forward. It wasn't what we envisioned. It wasn't the success that it could have been. And I'm speaking as if they're going to repeal it. I have no doubt that with the Republicans in the House and the Senate and the White House now, that Obamacare as we know it is dead. But our fight moving forward is that this Trumpcare American Health Care Act does not become law as it is in present. And there are some Republicans who are against this thing. I don't know who they are. I haven't done that research yet, but I applaud them for doing so. But the larger and deeper story about this is the continued attack on the poor, the elderly, and the homeless in this country. And to just simply rationalize it away that these people are just lazy is one of the biggest travesties of lack of compassion of a so-called Christian country that could ever be. And it's shameful. We really need to really look at joining the rest of the industrialized world and set up a single-payer, buzzword, socialized medicine in America. It's, for the common good. We need a lot less bombs and a whole lot more people getting the kind of health care they deserve. And I will end our live broadcast on that note.